Hi guys, welcome to today's video. This is my 1992 Nissan 300ZX twin turbo. I painted this car right here on my driveway in a tent, a pop-up garage that I got from Machine Mart, £400, with a compressor in that room, hose down here, using these two paint guns. This here is a 1.4 tip paint gun, £30 from Machine Mart. I use this for my base, for epoxy and for my clear coat, running at 25 to 30 psi. This here, a £30 generic paint gun which I got from the local auto paint shop, also £30. This is a 1.8 tip and I use this for I build primer. So, full disclosure, I am not a professional painter. I learnt to paint a car by watching YouTube, and I watched a particular channel called Paint Society by Brian. So take what you want, throw away what you don't want. So I just got finished painting my car in my tent, and I had a little complaint from two doors back behind me about my tent being up, planning permission, all that kind of thing. So I had to take the tent down, and I have been got a bit of orange peel, so I've been flat sanding and buffing the car a panel at a time, here and there, when I've got the time, when the weather says I can do it. So this has been done completely. Bonnet's been done, doors, although very dirty, rear quarters been done, boot lid's been done, spoiler still got shitloads of orange peel, bumper got to do, side skirt's got to do, nose panel got to do, and front bumper. So why do you get orange peel? Well, there are various reasons for getting orange peel. One reason is to do with the temperature and the rate in which the solvents in the paint evaporate. When you're painting on the driveway, you can't really control the temperature like you can in a professional booth, so you're pretty likely to get orange peel for that reason. The other reason you get orange peel is because of the angle that you paint at. Well, if we take a paint gun, what you will get from the tip of the paint gun, so we'll place this down here, you get a fan pattern like that, and if you point the paint gun at a totally flat surface, such as a wall, you're going to get even spread on that surface. However, if we go over here, every panel on a car has got a curve. So if we're putting this paint gun here, it's going to hit the middle of the curve before it's going to hit the top and the bottom of this curve, so you're going to get orange peel. And the other reason you get orange peel is because the paint is very thick, and when you paint a car, if the original surface, when you've blocked it out, should be smooth, so when you paint your primer on and you block that, that should be smooth, so you shouldn't have any orange peel there. But then when you paint your base is a very thin paint, so that will follow the smoothness of the original surface. However, your clear coat is a lot thicker than your base, so you're more likely to get orange peel. And if you're not a professional like me and you're going to get imperfections, you stick 6 layers of clear coat on, so you've got plenty to work with, because I know I could take the orange peel out. So that is what I have done, and that is why I've got orange peel in my car paint. However, not to worry, I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. So today I'm going to remove the orange peel from this bit here, this section on the T-tops, and the A-pillar down to here. So to do this, going to need a bucket of water, sponge, microfiber, some frog tape, some 1500 sandpaper, and some 2.5 sandpaper, and a big boy toy, also known as a buffer, with 2 heads, a raw aggressive one and a softer want to finish. And some polishing compound to go with that. So first things first, I've already done this. And I've already done the fender. So I do not want to touch these. And also I do not want to damage this. This does come off, however it's got some clips that are rather temperamental, so we're going to leave it on. This comes off if you want to take all the glass out and take all the bits, so we're going to leave that on. And we're going to leave that on for the same reason as the one over there. So what we're going to do is going to mask all these up with the frog tape, mask this, and mask this as well. So now we take our sandpaper. This is 1500, should say this is wet and dry as well. And we put it in here and let it have a little soak. So whilst that's soaking, we could get our sponge, put water on it, and just wet our panel a little bit. Like so. You see I've masked it all off as well, so I don't hit anything I don't want to hit. So now what we're going to do is get our 1500, what we've got wet, and we're going to gently, very lightly, go over like so, keeping it flat, and don't press on the edges, otherwise we'll take the paint off. And we'll just go over here, and we'll get it wet again. Work our way down. Let the sandpaper do the work. Take a sponge, I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to take the microfiber and just dry that off. So now it's probably quite hard to see on the camera, but if we go down here, you'll see some of it's dull and some of it's got some shiny sort of patchy bits, especially like here. Where it's shiny, this is still orange peely. Where it's dull, this is flat. So this means we need to go over again with the 1500 to try and get rid of these bits, so we concentrate more in these areas. So I've just come back because there's a little upstand bit here on the T-tops at the back. So I've decided to mask this in this direction because that's the width of the tape, because we don't want to sand the top of this upstand because we'll take the paint off, and we're doing this bit first, then this bit. So when we come to do this bit afterwards, we can then mask in that direction and that direction there. So just made a second pass, and as you'll tell, this area here now, we've wet sanded this again with 1500 and dried it off with a microfiber. This area here now is very smooth, but there's just a little bit here where it's brighter, that's still orange peely. A little bit up here, but we're not going to really get that. A little bit here, and a little bit up here and there. So what we need to do now is go over and concentrate on our areas where it's shiny, here, and this little bit down here. Wash that off again. Get rid of all the excess clear coat that's fell off. Get a microfiber, get it dry. Wait a little bit for it to fully dry naturally. Now if we come back, it's still a little bit shiny here and here, a little bit shiny there, very small amount there, and a very small amount here, and a little bit here. So we'll just go over those once more, because you have to know when to stop. Again, we're going to wipe that off. And use our microfiber to dry it. Let that dry. So now it's dried naturally. You'll see this is all dull now. There's a little bit here because I think there's an imperfection in the panel what I'm just not going to get. All down here now, all nice and dull. So that's where it's a bit wet. It's all dull. There's a very small bit there we're not too much worried about. And this down here now is gone. So this is all look dull, which means the orange peel is out. It feels much smoother as well, which means it's time for the next step. So the next step for me is to repeat the same process for this panel, which we've removed this bit here and removed it here. I've already done this a little bit here, so what I'm going to do is mask these up, but going that way and going that way, and I'm going to 1500 this one. Exactly the same as this, so I'm not going to video that bit. So now I've taken this down with 1500, taken this down with 1500, removed all the orange peel with the 1500 grit. I have masked these back up here so that I don't hit these little upstands. So the next stage now, you could buff that, but you'll be there for a long time. So what you do is to take out the 1500 grit sand scratches. You get some 2500 and you stick it in your water, ready to wet sand with 2500 grit. So now you take your sponge and wet up your panel again. So, which will make it easier to wet sand and remove any crap that's got there. Get your 2.5 grit sandpaper and same process, lightly go over it. This is just to remove the 1500 sand scratches. The orange peel's already gone, so just go over this gently, let the paper do the talking, don't put too much pressure on. And anything you don't take out, you'll take out with a buffer anyway. So this is no sort of way to tell that you've done it. So just sort of go over it about 2-4 times, then in my mind it's done. So that's like one run. This isn't really doing a lot other than taking the 1500 scratches out. You're not really going to do much to the panel. Get a bit of tape on there to come off, so just get a little wash off, because you don't want that getting stuck in your paper. Wash paper. I'll go over a couple of times. coming off there. I'm just going to retape that quickly. Suppose that little bit of trim, so just stick a bit of tape over that just to protect it. I'll just go over once more. Back the panel now, it's got a bit of build up. And go over it once more. So that now should be, wipe it off. Try it with the microfiber. Pretty much nice and smooth and ready for the buffer. So now I'm just going to go over, do this bit, and then take these off, put them on here, do this bit, and then we'll start buffering. So this is down at 2.5, this is down at 2.5, and this is down at 2,500 grit. Now what you could do is just go straight on and buffer it. However, all this tape here is going to be all soggy and horrible. So we're going to take all this off, and we're going to wipe it down, and then we're going to remask it with some dry tape. So what we have here is a professional buffing booth. Got cable hanging out the window over there. We mounted a camera on a bin, and we're going to position the camera at the car like so. First thing to do is get our compound, put a little bit blobs on the little panel. I have two bushing pads. This one here is a slightly harder one, a bit more coarse, and then I've got a softer one for afterwards. So what we're going to do is just rub this in, so it hopefully doesn't go too far everywhere. And we're going to buff. going to go over about 4 times. Take the microfiber and we're going to buff off any leftovers. Camera, we can have a quick look now. This here now is very nice and shiny. However, there is still work to be done. So I went ahead and I've buffed this down the same, and I've moved this tape over to cover over these 2 little upstands here. It's just going to buff this one, which I'll not record that. So all nice and shiny, buffed up here, buffed up here, buffed up here. Move the masking tape back over here to cover these upstands. However, our work is not done yet. So now to the buffer, and change the pad for this pad, which is a softer pad, which is a more finishing pad. Also to mention, on the buffer you do have various speeds. These can go very fast. I have mine just between 1 and 2, so it's not too fast and not too aggressive. So same compound that we used for the first part of the process. Put a little dab on here, another little dab, and another little dab. I'm going to take the finishing pad, wipe that in, and same process, go over about 4 times. Buff off any excess with your microfiber. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this and this one. So that is now that panel completely buffed up with both pads. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'll show you how we're done. So move the tape off. Unfortunately, this is a 30-year-old car. This has probably been painted this bit of trim before, not so well, and we did put tape on to protect it from it being hit by the buffer or the sandpaper. However, the tape has taken a bit of the paint off, but we can paint that again in the future. Shit happens and all that, but this is the finished product. Nice and shiny, all buffed up, orange peel removed. So we can go around the other side for a comparison. See this? Currently all orange peely. So all I've got to do now is the side skirts, rear bumper, front bumper, nose panel, and this bit of here. Oh, and the spoiler as well. But we're getting there. So that concludes today's video on how to cut and buff, or flat, sand and polish, whichever you want to call it, your car to remove orange peel. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one.